welcome back and thanks for being here with me today again. So we are talking today about the difference between two verbs, and these two verbs are the verb to do and the verb to make. So most of the times, especially non-native speakers find it very difficult to understand when they have to use one and when they have to use the other, and actually it's not very easy to distinguish them and also to explain the difference. This is why I am starting with a general explanation, general definition that you can find also on grammar books, and then we will start actually talking about examples and specific fields where we use one or the other. Obviously, I am not talking about the verb to do as an auxiliary verb. You know that we can use that as an auxiliary verb to create verbal forms in specific tenses, like for example the negative or interrogative form of the present simple or the past simple. In that case, the verb to do has no meaning. His task is just a grammar task. Okay. Now today we are talking about this verb as a verb that expresses a performance. Okay. Now, the difference between the two verbs. On one side, that we can say that to do is used for actions, for general actions. Okay, so general performances, obligations, so things we have to do, and repetitive tasks. Okay. And it refers always to the action itself, and so not on the final result of the action, but the performance itself. On the contrary, and on the other side too, make, the verb to make, is used when we create or produce something. Okay, sometimes it is physical, some other times it's figurative, but we actually produce something. So the focus of the action is on the final result. Doesn't matter whether it is physical, which is something we can actually touch, or not, but there is a final result and we focus on that. But I have to add something, because you may find in grammar books or websites another definition about the verb to make, and it says that the verb to make is used when there is a specific intention in doing something. Now, this is true, obviously, but on the other side, I think that it could actually create some confusion, especially for beginners and for non-native speakers, obviously, because the idea of intention isn't very clear at first. So you may ask me, but why? So it doesn't mean that the action with do don't imply my intention in doing them? No, that's not it. What they want to say when they say that the verb to make implies an intention, a specific intention, they mean that there is an effort in creating something. Now, this is, we can say, a very it's not very clear, so I suggest you to skip that definition for the moment and to stick with the basic definition. So verb to do for action, generic actions, obligation, repetitive task, when we refer just to the performance, the action, not the result. On the other side, make, when you create something, when you produce something, when you focus on the final result. I would just stop here with the general definition, and then I would actually go on just talking about the different examples, obviously, and fields in which we actually use the two verbs. It will be much easier for you to remind them, actually, because sometimes, okay, theory is great, but sometimes it's also confusing. So let's try and see here in details. So we use the verb to do when we talk about housework. Okay, obviously almost everything that concerns housework is a repetitive task, we know that. So we can say do housework. We can say to do the laundry, for example. Okay, I do the laundry every Tuesdays and I know Saturdays or whatever. Do the dishes. Of course, I can also say wash the dishes. Okay, can you do the dishes today, tonight? Can you wash the dishes? Both are correct. Do the shopping. Okay, go to the stores to buy what we need. But pay attention, very common mistake. Obviously, we would probably tend to say to do the bed in this case when we actually put blankets and pillows in the correct order, so the bed is perfectly clean. And no, I won't say to do the bed, I would say make the bed. So this is an exception, obviously. Then again, I use the verb to do when I'm talking about working or studying. Do work is an expression that exists, to do work. To do your homework. Have you done your homework today? Have you already done your homework? So, homework obviously requires the verb to do. This is another common mistake. To do business with someone, maybe. We did business together. It means that we worked together in a company, maybe, or we did business with those clients from Germany. Okay, so it's obviously something I do, and it talks about a performance at work. To do a good or bad job, this is quite common. We can also just say good job, or that was an awful job. Now, when we use the verb, it is always to do. Okay, you did a great job there. You did an awesome job. You did a good job. You did an awful job. Okay, so all of them are correct. So always the verb to do. And then again, to do a report. To do a report. This one is, well, you could say that arguably you could actually use make, because you produce the report, but unfortunately you do a report. Or do a course. I'm doing a course at university at the moment. I can also say I am taking a course at university at the moment. Both of them are perfectly correct. Then again, we used to do while talking about taking care of our body or our health somehow. So to do exercise, I try to do exercise every single day. That's not true anyway. So do exercise. Or do your hair. Do your hair. So when you fix your hair, your hairstyle, or you comb your hair, or whatever. Or to do your nails, when you paint your nails. Okay? To do your nails. We also use the verb to do when talking about general actions. This is our first definition, actually. Whether they're good or bad, they are anyway general actions, and so we have to use to do. For example, to do something, nothing, anything, and not make something or anything. Examples are, I don't know, you did nothing about that. Or did you do anything about that? Oh, I saw you did something about that problem. Good. So, in all these cases, I'm talking about something very generic and say just something, nothing, or anything, depending obviously on the rule, on the sentence, whether it is a question or a negative form or a positive form, but the verb is always to do. Then to do good, the charity did a lot of good in the community, okay, to do good. And then to do well or badly, okay, they are obviously opposite to each other, okay, same rule, always with to do. To do your best, okay, it doesn't matter the result, the only important thing in life is that you do your best, okay, it's a very common sentence. Or to do the right thing, so the most important thing is that you try and do the right thing, okay. In all these cases, we just have to use the verb to do. Now, let's move to the other side of the whiteboard. Don't worry, because I will then move away from the whiteboard. You can see all of them together. As I said before, creating, producing something doesn't always mean that I am physically doing something. Sometimes it is, sometimes I'm just talking about a figurative object. Let's see what I mean. So first, situations about food. Well, this is quite easy. And I think it's quite instinctive to do that. I make breakfast or lunch or dinner, okay, so with meals in general. This is quite obvious and very used. Also, when I made a sandwich for you, or I made a salad, okay, I physically made the sandwich. This is quite easy. Not only talking about food, but also something to drink. Like in this case, I made a cup of tea. I'm not eating the cup of tea, I'm drinking it, but anyway, the idea is exactly the same. Oh, pay attention here, this is not so obvious. Make a reservation. It's not to do a reservation. Even if I don't have a physical result, okay, I haven't produced anything, but anyway, it is to make a reservation. Then, second aspect about money. Money, when you're talking about money. To make money, okay, it means to earn a lot, okay, or to make a profit. Even the company made a profit this year, okay, again, earned something, earned a lot actually. To make a fortune, okay, make a fortune when it's a lot of money, obviously, but also with small amounts of money and very specific ones. For example, I decided to sell my laptop and I made 200 euros. Or dollars, if you prefer. In this case, I have a very specific amount of money, okay? In this case, it is obviously the verb to make. Then again, something about relationships. For example, to make friends, become friends, okay? To make friends with someone, okay? I made friends with, I don't know, with the people you introduced me yesterday. Okay, so make friends, become friends actually. To make love, okay, to have a sexual intercourse, okay, to make sex. Then to make up. Make up means when maybe you had a quarrel or with someone, you argued and then you actually fix things and then you get along again, and so you make up. Then make fun of someone. This is bad. When you mock someone, when you laugh at someone, okay? The kids were making fun of well, I don't know, that other boy. They were mocking him or laughing at him. Then there are a lot of situations in which we use to make while talking about communication in general, and all these cases are not the only ones. So at the end of this, I will have to erase this calendar on my whiteboard and write another group of situations. So there are a lot, as you can see, concerning make, and they're very, very specific. Now, talking about communication. To make a phone call, I made a lot of phone calls today or this afternoon. This is not something physical I have produced, but I had a result, okay? I produced something somehow. It's figurative, obviously, the call. To make a joke, okay? Yes, he always makes jokes and they're not funny at all, okay? When they try to be ironic or to tell funny stories, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not. To make a point, for example, during the meeting today, she made a few good points, so it means that she discussed something and well, she could actually explain something and eventually also convince others and give good argumentation. So this is the meaning of making a point. Then make a bet when I am gambling. Okay, this is for gamblers. Make a complaint when I am when not satisfied, and I make a complaint. So I write or I talk because I want to emphasize what wasn't right in my opinion. Then make a confession. Okay, also in this case I'm not making a confession physically, but this is obviously a result I produce, my confession. To make a speech, there are a lot of mistakes going on there. There are a lot of verbs that are used in this case, but the almost only one is to make a speech. Okay, when he made a great speech in front of his audience, and maybe he made a good point. Okay, he made a few good points, so we can put two of them together. Make a suggestion. To make a suggestion, it's not to give a suggestion actually, as it is in many other languages, including my own languages, which is Italian, but I make a suggestion when I advise someone. Make a prediction, same thing, or make an excuse. When I am finding reasons, okay, to excuse myself for doing or not doing something. So make an excuse, or make a promise. Okay, when I promise something, I make a promise. I don't do a promise, I make a promise, because there is a final result, which is my promise. Make an observation. Make an observation. Or make a comment. As I have already said, actually, when I tell you, maybe here on YouTube, I say, leave me a comment. This is because you leave a comment in the form, maybe under my video. This is something different from making a comment, because making a comment means that you are actually producing, okay, we can say a text or something, or a speech with your considerations and with your opinions about a certain topic. So it's more like a commentary. Pay attention, very common mistakes, so be careful, careful, careful. You can't say make a question. This is a very common mistake, because it exists, this expression, make a question, exists in a lot of languages. But in English you have to say to ask a question. Ask a question. You can't make a question, but you have to ask. May I ask you a question? Okay, so the verb is to ask. As I promised you, now I'm moving away, and I let you make notes or just screenshot my whiteboard. And I always remind you that one of my suggestions, I make a suggestion now. It's fine if you have screenshots or whatever, but it is also very good if you then copy what is written using your own colors, using your own obviously I have to write things this way because this is the place I got, and so this is what I have to do basically. But you can write on many different sheets in many different colors, using many different fonts. So this is very positive for you to remember stuff, especially when there are lists of things like this, or for example phrasal verbs or other things. So it is also grammar. I know when talking about grammar and we have schemes or some stuff, it's easier for you to remember if you change them into something that actually belongs to you. And the only way to do that is physically writing down, or typing if you want, but writing is even better, and using your own style. It will help you remember, because the things you re-elaborate are the only things that you're going actually to remember, because your mind can process them. Now wait a second, less than a second, and I will give you the last part concerning make. Here we are again, and now we can complete our list concerning make and the different ways to use make. So the fifth and last group of situations in which we use to make concerns plans and progress. Now we can see here especially in this expressions here. That aspect I talked about at the very beginning of this video, which was about the intentionality. You remember that I said that many grammar books talk about this intention, this personal intention in doing an action concerning, or better expressed by make. And I told you this is, if we talk in general, this is not so clear, but it will be more clear, it will be clear if we start making examples. Now it becomes clear. So, we use make when we say, make plans. I am making plans for the summer, for my holidays. So I am thinking about my holidays and deciding what I can do. Okay? Or make a decision, make a choice. I have made the wrong choice there, or I have made the wrong decision there. Pay attention here, because in many different languages, including my own language, so please, Italian speakers, pay attention, but Italian is not the only language in which we don't use make, but we use the translation of the verb to take, okay? To take a decision. Well, it is wrong in English, completely wrong. We make a decision and we make a choice, so be very careful, okay? Now, you can see here, make plans, make a decision, make a choice. You can see the intention, you can see the personal desire, the wish to do something. So that is what they meant when they gave that definition. They didn't mean that you have no intention of doing actions expressed by the verb to do. This is not what they mean. They just meant that this kind of actions represent a specific and very strong intention. Then, make a mistake. Well, there is no intention probably here, okay? I made a huge mistake. This is a quite common mistake that I find reading stuff from my students, written by my students. Sentences like, I did a lot of mistakes. That's wrong, 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 okay? To make a mistake. Make progress, okay? My students are making great progress. In many languages we use the plural of progress. In English it is singular. They don't make progresses, but just progress. Then, to make an attempt or make an effort, trying to do something, okay, or working hard to achieve something. In both cases here you can find again that intention, okay? I'm making an attempt at improving my English, or I'm making an effort, okay? Then, to make up your mind, pay attention here, because we already talked about the phrasal verb to make up, where we're talking about phrasal verbs. You know that I am making small series of 5 videos talking about phrasal verbs. I have already made 2 of them, and I will make another 3. Make up was one of those verbs, and I told you that it meant to create something fake, okay? I make up a story means that I am inventing that story. But in this case, it means something different, to make up your mind. Okay, so all together, all of this, make up your mind, means that you make a decision. It is basically a synonym, or you make a choice. Now, I've thought about that, and finally I made up my mind. Okay, so I come to a conclusion, and I made a choice. I understood something, and I made a decision. That's the meaning of making up your mind. Then, to make a discovery, to discover something, obviously. To make a list, again, to write down a list. You can see again and again here the idea of the intentionality. Make sure, so to do something to be certain, in order to be certain of something. You ask me something and I don't know the answer, I will make sure. Okay, I'll check it out and make sure. then make a difference. Make a difference when some people. Well, I try to help you. I know that my actions won't make a difference. Oh, they do. They make all the difference in the world. Okay. And make an exception. Make an exception when you behave in a certain way, but in specific situation you decide to do something different. So I make an exception for you, for example. Then I move away again, so you can eventually copy or screenshot or whatever you want to do. And I think this is all for today. I hope that my explanation was clear enough and quite complete. Okay, some of you ask for very quick short videos, other people ask for very detailed and complete videos, so I'm trying to find a way to basically find a compromise between the two. I hope it was useful and interesting for you. If you have any questions, I'm here. Please leave me a like if you liked it, if you find it useful, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And thank you so very much for following. Thank you so very much for your support, and see you again very soon with the English, German, Italian, anything else. Bye, ciao.